Well, welcome back to 42nd Street Pete's Grindhouse. And another episode of Really Weird Cinema, but first, a little update here. Today's Monday at 2:30. I'm taking Bootz back to the vet to get a recheck and see where I'm going to go from here. Obviously, I got to go for an ultrasound, and I sold a couple things over the weekend to try to raise the money for the ultrasound because it's a broken record with these vet bills, and it's not going to end. I got to realize that if it comes between paying vet bills for my dogs and having to pay the IRS down the road, I'm paying vet bills for my dogs. Fuck the IRS. But anyway, that's the story. So far, she's doing okay. Getting food in her is a problem sometimes. She gets weird about that. Plus, I got the other dog that's sort of like jealous about what's going on because more attention is being paid. That type of shit, so yeah. But anyway, something else we're going here. Being at Valentines Day is coming up, and everybody knows what a romantic I am. AlternativeCinema.com is going to offer the original 8mm Madness 2-disc edition, 8mm Madness, the first one, for $50 off. Just use the code 42P. It's going to run until March. From now until March 1st, $50 off. Use code 42P. This is the one I did well over 15 years ago that started the whole chain. So definitely check it out if you don't have it. It's a little gem in time. You may as well buy it while it's still legal. Another thing, too, is finally the new issue of Shock Cinema came out. Steve was down, well, he had cataract surgery, and if you can't fucking see, you really can't write anything, so it's been a little bit, but this one's got some great interviews in it. You got Martine Beswick, William Sadler, Catherine Leigh Scott, Constance Towers, Emily Lloyd, and a bunch of reviews and stuff like that, so, you know, check it out, Shock Cinema, and it's probably available in Barnes & Noble, too. So this one is the longest-running fanzines, actually magazines now, and it's essential reading for any film fan. So anyway, go back to 1968. A film called Lyla that actually was released by Harry Novak under the title Mantis and Lace, a more exploitive, suggestive thing. And if you're into tits, and we're all pretty much into tits, you'll want to get a hold of this one. It opens up in a strip club, and there's this dancer named Lyla who gets picked up with this guy with this huge fucking earring. And they go to his loft or wherever he's hiding out, and she never dropped acid. So basically, he gives her acid, and they start tripping, and of course, I think the effect, there must be a name for how they do this, but it looks like they're projecting something on people's faces and stuff like that. And it was all, you know, the weird, it's 60s, psychedelic lights and flashing and shit like that. And then she's sort of freaking out, and she grabs a screwdriver and stabs the guy to death, and then finds a meat cleaver and chops him up and puts the body in a box and drags it out where the cops find it. So now they just found a mutilated body, and they don't know what the fuck's going on. So anyway, back to the club, and there's two other strippers in there that are head and shoulders better than Lyla is. I mean, there's one that's brunette that's got a real great set of knockers, and there's one that's blonde that does all kinds of strange shit, and actually there's a little scene between the two of them talking about what they do. But anyway, Lyla's next pickup is a psychiatrist who takes her back, and he's familiar with the effects of LSD, but not what they do to her. So she drops acid, they start making out, she flips out, she imagines him in surgeon's garb coming after her, and again, the screwdriver, the cleaver, and an empty box, and they find this guy with his wallet, and you know, I obviously just take his wallet. So now they're really wondering what the fuck's going on. So anyway, we go back, and there is a girl auditioning for a strip club owner, and there was a prolonged softcore sex scene, which is okay, but it was just thrown in there to kill fucking time. Anybody can see that. So back to our heroine, who picks up some rough trade, and he gets nasty with her and winds up in the same thing. Now, the two intrepid detectives that are tracking this down, one of them finds out that the dirt on the guy's shoes, or what they found, what's left of his feet anyway, match some dirt that was in somewhere in the box. So if they can find the dirt in the box, they can match it up, whatever. But anyway, someone is actually renting that loft, and a realtor shows it to somebody, and there's no power, but they see blood all over the fucking place. So of course she calls the cops. So they sort of lay in wait for whatever's going on, and now Layla has seduced a liquor store owner, and he comes up there and he's got a gun, and for some reason, him and the cops start shooting each other. He's dead, and then Lyla grabs the meat cleaver, and they realize that they have their murderer. The end. Really nothing to write home about. Some people really love this film. Some people really hate it. It's sort of like, if you're into tits, it's cool, but that's the only selling point, except for that one hot chick. Two hot chicks, rather. This seems to be a thing with some of Harry Novak's stuff, because I remember I just did something else. I can't even remember what the hell it was, but I remember the title on the poster didn't match the movie in the thing, but it was actually the movie, but I guess Harry was too lazy to just drop a title in there. So it just reminds me of, growing up and, hitting the age where you could drink and going into these sleazy, strip bar, go-go bars, whatever, and there was a lot of them. There was. I can remember, what the hell was the one? Of course, the big one in New York was the Mardi Gras and the Metropole on, up on Broadway, 7th Ave, whatever. Those were the big ones. And the merry-go-round on, I think, 44th. Was it 44th Street? No, it might have been 45th Street, I think. Then, there was other ones, local ones. I mean, there was one in the wonderful downtown of Secaucus, New Jersey, called the Meadowlands Inn. And the guy who took your money to get in had one hand and a hook on the other. And if you walked in, there was a big sign over the bar saying that Wednesday night was Sensuous Banana Night. And this was one of those fucking places where anything went. Girls were doing each other with bananas on the bar, bottles. Guys were lining up to eat pussy, and eventually word got out and that place got raided. So I was, money-wise, me and my friends were more into sedate places like the Psychedelic in Garfield with, its dollar Michelobes, and, you tip the dancers $1, and they just danced around go-go girls. I remember one night that me, Jimmy, and Ian were in there, and Ian was a kid that emigrated over here from Great Britain, and Jimmy was an Italian kid that had an afro and sort of looked like the Checkered Demon a little bit. No, actually he didn't, that was Gasoline, but anyway, big guy. So we're sitting there, all stoned out, nursing our dollar Michelobes, when we see this cockroach, crawling up the leg of a dancer. And we're trying to flag her, and Jimmy just yells out, "Hey lady, you got a bug crawling up your leg." So she flips it over, cockroach, and she steps on it. So, little cockroach story there. But yeah, there was a few, but I'll tell you, after a while, that shit wears thin, and you're not going to take home a dancer, and there was other shit that was going on where somebody thought they were, and told me, "Oh yeah, she's got a girlfriend. Let's go over," and we drive her all the way, I don't know where the fuck it was, to Brooklyn or something like that. And she goes up and she goes, "Let me go up and tell my roommate, and then I'll come back down and get you." So we're sitting there, and I knew we were going to get fucked, but he really wanted to go. So after a half hour, I said, "You know something? It ain't going to happen." So we went back home. So yeah, strip bars and all that other good shit. So anyway, I'll have an update next show about what I find out about Bootz, and take advantage of that sale, because with what's going on now, who the fuck knows? It might be illegal tomorrow. So until next time, stay safe. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you on the flip side.